Welcome, Book Talk enthusiasts, to the first of many exciting episodes of our new podcast, Dragons and Spaceships. Here we will shine a spotlight on all of the fantasy and sci-fi books that are taking the platform by a storm. I'm your host, Brandi, and today we will be diving into A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen. But before we dive into this book, let's take a look at the Realm and Galactic rankings of the top 10 trending books this week. The top 10 trending books this week are The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, Powerless by Lauren Roberts, The Wicked King by Holly Black, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Anger, A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall, Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes, Heart Still Beating by Brooke Archer, and Earth Flown by Frances Wren. Now it's time for the Captain's Log, where we bring you insights and stories from our featured guests or the host monologue. Okay, let's dive into this book. I was so excited to hear that this book was coming out this year. I don't know about you guys, but I am a huge fan of Danielle Jensen and especially the Bridge Kingdom series. So when I heard there was a new book coming out this February that was a new romantasy book, I had to do it. Danielle Jensen is a master at romantasy books, and the characters that she is able to create and making them so complex but also so relatable is just chef's kiss. So for those of you who enjoyed The Last Kingdom but craved a little bit more magic and romance, this is the book for you. And let me tell you, this first installment of the duology did not disappoint. I'm going to try to keep the spoilers to a minimum over here, but I will dive into the plot summary that you can find on Goodreads. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish, but dreams of becoming a warrior and putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son Bjorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack. It was foretold such a magic would unite the fractured nation of Scotland beneath the one who controls the Shield Maiden's fate. Believing he is destined to rule Scotland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she swore to protect. So as you can probably tell from that summary, this book has a lot of hard to pronounce names. We have names like Freya, which can be confused with Feyre in A Court of Thorns and Roses, but this one is named Freya. We also have Bjorn. We have so many unique names, which is just really hard to pronounce. So I was lucky enough that I listened to the audiobook as well as physically read it, and that helped me a lot. The narrator, her name is Nina Yindis, and she is a native Norwegian speaker. She does an amazing job, and I really enjoyed the story even more listening to her as well. I also just recently found Danielle Jensen's TikTok account, and she announced on there that Nina Yindis sent in audio clips to the publishing company, which Danielle has on her website, of how to pronounce the names. So if you are reading this book and you're struggling with the names, or you weren't sure if you were saying it correctly in your head or not, you can go to Danielle Jensen's website, and on there you can see the correct ways to pronounce the names. So go check that out if you need help. Okay, let's talk about the characters. Danielle Jensen is very good at writing complex characters without making it weird. And I just love that, because the different twists and turns in this book with the characters is definitely could get weird if it wasn't for her amazing writing. The two main characters of this story are Freya and Bjorn. Their depth only grew as the story unfolded, and I just loved them from the beginning. Freya's selflessness, although sometimes frustrating, earned my utmost respect. Her authenticity as a Viking woman added so many layers to her character, while Bjorn embodied everything I adore in a male lead. We are funny, charming, fiercely loyal, and with a hint of mystery stemming from his powers. The romance between Freya and Bjorn was so beautiful. Besides, the minor part of her being married to Snorri, which is someone who is 3 times her age and Bjorn's father, it was still so beautiful and romantic. And it didn't feel taboo at all. As you read Danielle's work, you'll understand why it works perfectly. The fiery passion between Freya and Bjorn, the dirty talk, the banter, it was all just so top-notch. It was beautifully balanced with heartfelt, tender moments, and the tension radiated off the pages. Honestly, it was Danielle's best work. This book has everything a romantasy lover will enjoy. We have Norse mythology, Vikings, battles, forbidden love, forced proximity, and banter. It is a slow burn, so if you're reading it for the spice, you must wait a little while, but it's worth the wait. The tension between these two main characters is excellent. Now let's talk about the world building and the setting. Jensen's skill as a writer really shines through with her capabilities of world building without too much info dumping. This world felt very familiar with its Viking-esque elements, and if you've seen any Viking TV shows or anything like that, it was very easy to imagine this world, especially with all the content that's out there with Vikings. My only gripe about it is that I wish there was a map so I can kind of follow what's happening and where it is, because I did get a little confused at times, but Danielle Jensen is just such a great writer, and she does a really good job of, just throwing you into that world. Now we'll move on to plot twists and turning points. The last quarter of the story was a whirlwind of an adventure, and it had a plot twist at the end that I probably should have seen coming, but I definitely did not. When we got to, the last little bit, I was like, man, everything is so perfect. This is all just so wonderful. I'm so happy. And then the plot twist happens, and you were like, wait, what? And it's pretty crazy. That cliffhanger definitely left me eagerly waiting for part 2 of this duology. And I cannot wait till it comes out next year, because this tumultuous journey is far from over. There is still so much more we need to uncover in book 2. So Danielle L. Jensen, please hurry it up for us eagerly waiting. One thing I forgot to mention is how beautiful this cover art is. I just think it is so beautiful, and it shows you exactly what type of book you're about to pick up, and I just really like that. Overall, I really enjoyed the story, and I give it a solid 4.5 stars out of 5, especially with the magical elements, the Norse-inspired setting, and the stunning cover art. Jensen is a truly one-of-a-kind storyteller, and I cannot wait to see what else is in store for this story and for other things that she writes. Some of my favorite quotes from this book are the following. "You are mine, born in fire, even only if the two of us know it. Not all scars we earn are skin deep, Freya, born in fire. There is no less honor in them. In our world, power is most often achieved with violence. I will be at your back until I cross the threshold to Valhalla, whether you want me there or not." I love Bjorn so much. Before we end this episode, though, we still have a couple more things we need to go through. Next, we'll move on to Dragon's Roar. In today's Dragon Roar, we are delving into the latest drama in the book industry or news to come out. If you follow Alex Astor, author of Lightlark, on social media, she recently announced the 3rd name of her book in that series. So we have Lightlark, Nightbane, and now Skyshade. Skyshade will be released in November 2024, and I am so excited. Next, let's look at highlighted forthcoming fables and quests you can embark on soon. So as I was doing research for this podcast of what books are coming out soon, there was one that really caught my eye, and I just want to kind of tell you a little bit about it. So the book is called Queen Bee by Juno Dawson, and it is the next spellbinding installment of Juno's fantasy series, Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Takes us back to the reign of Henry VIII and the origins of Her Majesty's Royal Coven under the beautiful, the bewitching Anne Boleyn. When I saw this, I knew this was the one I had to highlight. First of all, I've never heard of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. So I am, number one, so excited to go read that. And number two, I am a huge British history nerd, and I love anything that has to do with Henry and his 6 wives. I love the musical. I love all of the things. So you put a fantasy book series with my love for Anne Boleyn in history, I'm going to be there for it. And I will definitely do an episode on that when the time comes. The next segment we have would be Interstellar Encounters. In Interstellar Encounter, we highlight some of our audience's favorite moments and books. So please leave a comment, and we would love to feature your thoughts about anything book related. And that brings us to the end of our first episodes of Dragons and Starships. Thank you for joining us on the realm and starship journey we had today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to subscribe and leave a review. And you can always follow us on our social media accounts, which will be listed in the captions. Until next time, keep exploring the fantastical and futuristic, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.